let's talk about your internet connection. I mean, at this point, it's as essential as water or electricity, right? But it can be way more confusing. So today, we're going to decode all the jargon and help you figure out how to make a smarter choice. You hear all these terms thrown around constantly: DSL, cable, fiber, 5G. But what's the actual difference? How does it affect your Netflix binge, your Zoom calls, or whether you lag out in a big online game? Well, the gap between them is probably a lot bigger than you think. By the end of this, our whole goal is to give you the keys to figure out the right internet connection for you. We're going to skip the confusing tech talk and just get straight to the point. Okay, let's start with the foundation of the internet, the physical wires that actually run into our homes. When you're talking about pure speed and rock-solid stability, these connections are the absolute titans. You know, the history of wired internet is really just this relentless quest for more and more speed. We went from that unforgettable screech of a dial-up modem to the completely silent, light-speed connections we have now. And every single step along that path was a huge leap forward. Oh, man. Remember that sound? Dial-up was our very first door to the online world. But boy, was it a test of patience, just trickling data at around 56 kilobits per second. It feels like an ancient relic now, but hey, that was the spark that got this whole thing started. Then DSL came along, and it was a total game changer. All of a sudden, the internet was just always on. You didn't have to tie up your phone line anymore. Speeds jumped up to around 10 megabits per second, and for the first time, the web started to feel genuinely responsive. Now, this is where we get into the era of what most of us think of as true high-speed internet. By basically piggybacking on the existing cable TV lines, companies could deliver a fire hose of data. We're talking speeds of 1 gigabit per second, or even more. Plenty to power a whole modern connected smart home with ease. And that brings us to the current king of the hill, fiber optic. This isn't just a faster wire, it's a completely different technology. It sends data as literal pulses of light through super thin glass fibers. And because light travels with almost zero resistance compared to electricity and a copper wire, the signal is incredibly clean. The result? Mind-blowing multi-gigabit speeds with flawless reliability. So let's just put this all into perspective for a second. We went from DSL's 10 megabits per second to cable's 1,000. Now, with fiber, we're in a whole other league, easily doubling that and then some. The leap in what's possible is just staggering. So, okay, wired connections give you incredible power, but they are literally tethered to one spot. So what if your life requires you to be mobile? Well, this introduces the fundamental trade-off when it comes to internet, choosing between raw, unadulterated power and untethered freedom. All right, now let's cut the cord. Wireless technologies are built for a world that's constantly in motion, designed to deliver a connection wherever you are, whenever you need it. In the wireless world, we've basically got three main players. There's cellular, which is the engine behind our mobile lives. Then you've got radio frequency, or RF, which is a more specialized solution for fixed spots. And finally, there's satellite, which beams a connection down from the heavens themselves. For life on the move, cellular is absolutely king. And with 5G now rolling out, we're seeing speeds that are basically fiber fast, but in our pockets, sometimes reaching an incredible 20 gigabits per second in certain cities. It's the invisible network that powers pretty much our entire modern mobile world. Now, RF is an interesting one. It's wireless, but it's not mobile. It's designed for a fixed location, like a house. It's a lifeline for a lot of rural areas, but it does have one really big catch. You have to have a crystal clear line of sight from your antenna to the provider's tower. No big hills or trees in the way. But what happens when you're truly, completely off the grid? I mean, think of scientists working in a remote mountain range, or a home that's nestled so deep in a valley that nothing else can reach it. When every other option is off the table, satellite internet becomes that absolutely essential link to the outside world. Satellite's real superpower is its reach. If you can see the sky, you can get online. Simple as that. And you should forget whatever you've heard about the satellite internet of the past. Modern services have completely revolutionized the technology. They're delivering speeds over 100 megabits per second, making it a true game changer for so many communities. Okay, so we've looked at the world of wired and the world of wireless. Now it's time to bring it all home. Let's translate all this knowledge into a practical decision and find the perfect connection for you. Choosing the right service really just comes down to answering three key questions. First, and this is the most critical one, where do you live? Second, what do you actually do online? This will tell you how much speed you need. And finally, are you always on the move, or do you pretty much stay in one place? So let's map this out. If you're in a city, you're likely choosing between the pure power of fiber and the wide availability of cable. If you head out to the country, your best bets are probably going to be satellite or RF. Now, are you a power user, a video editor, a streamer, a competitive gamer? Then you need fiber. Its upload speeds are just as fast as its download speeds, and that's non-negotiable for you. For everyday stuff like streaming and browsing, cable or even DSL can be totally fine. And of course, if you're always on the go, cellular is your best friend. So here's the real takeaway. Stop searching for the quote-unquote best internet service. It doesn't exist. Instead, you need to search for the best service for you. The perfect connection is the one that is tailor-made for your location, your habits, and your life. And all this brings us to a really fascinating glimpse of what's next. I mean, when multi-gigabit speeds become the baseline, not the luxury, what does that make possible? What new industries, what new forms of entertainment, what new ways of connecting are just waiting right over the horizon? The Internet of Tomorrow is being built as we speak, and it promises to be pretty extraordinary.